Well, hi, good evening, and welcome to NLP Uncovered. It's going to be a fantastic webinar this evening, so thank you for coming. And just wanted to quickly introduce myself. If you're expecting Carol Talbot, I'm not Carol Talbot, first of all. My name is Sunil. I'm a good friend of Carol's, and I'm just here to introduce her this evening to give you a little bit of background about who she is. And I think you can see on the screen already about a little bit about her. But before we get started, just want to have a quick check to make sure the technology is all working. So there should be a question box that you have on your screen. There should be a question. So if you could just put a question in there so I can know that you can hear us okay, and you can just we can move on with the webinar. So if you go to the question box, and I just make sure that you can actually ask questions. Yes, you can. So if you go to the question box, just say hello, I can hear you, or something along those lines. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Lovely. They're saying, how am I doing? Wendy, Lisa, thank you so much. So you can hear me. That's fantastic. Okay, thank you. Great. Beautiful. So let me just quickly introduce Carol, and I'll get out of the way and let her take over. But first of all, she is a professional speaker. She is a master trainer, but I definitely see Carol more as a third thing, the fire starter, and has that ability to really create the fire, or I would say fan the flames that are already there inside of you and allow you to go and achieve your goals and your dreams. And of course NLP is the technique and the methodology, and she is the region's expert in that. And of course this evening is just going to be a quick introduction to NLP. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Carol. Carol, are you there?
I am. Hi. Thanks for that, Sunil.
No problems. All over to you.
Well, I'm excited and curious to know what inspired all of you to sign up for this webinar. Maybe you've heard about NLP and you're not really sure what it is, or is it about programming your mind, communicating more effectively, or is it the art of influencing others? Or maybe you've heard that it's about getting rid of fears and phobias or boosting your confidence levels. Is it about getting clear about what you want in life, or being able to motivate yourself and others? Well, actually, the answer to all of those points is yes, and so much more. And maybe some of you are wondering if NLP is just for personal development, or if it's applicable and useful in business, in management, leadership, and what about with family, friends, and particularly with children, or in creating financial abundance, or health and wellness? Again, the answer is yes, and so much more. And you may also be asking, well, what sort of people would use these techniques? And from my model of the world, I say everyone, because NLP has really had a profound impact on the field of personal development. And personally and professionally, people from all walks of life have been enhancing their lives and finding greater success as a result of NLP. And I know I certainly have. I probably came across NLP it must have been about 15 years ago. A friend of mine actually gave me a book, and I'm one of those people who I've always been interested in my own personal development. Attended lots of courses, and many of my friends know me as a little bit of a course junkie. So I always say I've done all the ologies and therapies. And when I came across that book of NLP, I decided to attend a course. So I went back and attended my first NLP practitioner program, and I took quantum leaps forward in all areas of my life. And I remember saying to myself, there's something more for me to learn here. And so I immediately signed up for the next level, which was the Master Practitioner program, then on to Trainer's Training, so that I could share these tools and techniques with as many people as possible. And now I'm a Master Trainer of NLP, Timeline Therapy and Hypnosis. I've been here in this part of the world for about 25 years. I'm also a Master Firewalk Instructor. As you can probably see, and for those of you who do know me, I love the color purple. And my goal, my objective really is just to share these tools and techniques with as many people as possible, so you too can make quantum leaps forward in all areas of your life. So that's just a sort of little background about me. What's coming up on this webinar? Well, this webinar is really to answer the question, what the heck is NLP? Because it has so many different definitions. So I'm going to take you through a couple of different definitions of NLP, including my own definition of NLP. And then I want to introduce you to kind of like the big picture, how NLP works. So I'm going to talk about something called neurological levels, which gives you the big picture, and the NLP communication model. And then within that, you'll see that there's so many different tools and techniques that NLP offers to create a lot of rapid shifts and changes. I'm also going to open up the questions and answers, and because you're all muted at the moment, may I suggest, and I think Sunil suggested this as well, that if you've got questions, he'll pull them all together, so just type your questions in, and then when we get to that section, then he'll address the questions to me. And finally, is NLP for you? And I know some of the people on this call have actually been through some of our programs or know a little about NLP anyway, so they may want to sort of just share their experiences as well. So let's get going straight away with what is NLP, and it has quite a few different definitions, so I thought it would be good to start with the name itself, neuro-linguistic programming. So let's start with neuro, because what you think is really what you get. Our external world is a complete mirror of our internal world and vice versa. So neuro really applies to our state of mind, which includes both our thoughts and also our physiology. Now, linguistics, well, just for a moment, consider if you've ever been moved by an excellent communicator. Perhaps you remember the words of Nelson Mandela, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Winston Churchill, or Mahatma Gandhi. And years later, their words still continue to touch and inspire people. So linguistic really refers to the language we use and how it affects us and how we use it to affect others. And I just wonder if you've ever stopped to consider the power that you have to influence yourself and others simply by the very words that you use on a consistent basis. And you can actually instantly change your experience by using language that's really rich in all the senses to inspire yourself and others, as well as creating fulfilling relationships. And then, of course, we have the programming component. Now, your results come as a direct result of your programming, how you structure and sequence your actions and behaviors to get specific results. And we actually have a strategy for literally everything that we do. So think of a strategy like a recipe, a sequence of thoughts and behaviors that always produce a result, although not always the result that we want. We have a strategy for making decisions, for learning, for how we get angry, for failing in love or falling in love. And the more we understand our strategies, then the more we can really recreate the ones that ensure that we do get the results that we want. Or we can learn to make some modifications or even create and install new ones. And consider that we're actually programming ourselves all the time. So by understanding these programs, then what you do is you start to lead a life that's much more fulfilling. So that's kind of like the overview of the terminology of neuro-linguistic programming. There's a couple of other definitions that I want to introduce you to. One of the creators of NLP was John Grinder, who was a linguistic professor. And his way of describing NLP is as a model for human excellence. And I love this because in a world where we tend to look for what's wrong, NLP looks for what's right. So in an organization, who are the successful organizations out there in the world? What are they doing to be so successful? And when it comes to individuals, who are the individuals in the world who are really successful? Again, what are they doing to be successful? And then looking at yourself. Where in your life are you absolutely brilliant? Are there other areas of your life where you're kind of like mediocre? For me, it's cooking. And then there's other areas of your life where you're probably absolutely awful. And so by becoming aware of those areas where you're brilliant, you can start to find out how you do what you do. Not just what you do that's brilliant, but how you do it. And then what beliefs are you operating from? What behaviors do you operate from? And transfer those same patterns of success into other areas of your life. Not only that, we always encourage people on our programs to find models of excellence, people who are successful in business if you want to be successful in business. If you want to be more successful in your relationships, find yourself people who are successful in relationships. And again, find out how they do what they do. So that's John Grinder's definition. One of the other creators of NLP is Richard Bandler. And he says that NLP is an attitude and a methodology that leaves behind a trail of techniques. Well, what does all that really mean? Well, when Richard was talking about an attitude of curiosity, it always reminds me when I was a child, I was one of those children who could never wait for Christmas and birthdays, and I was always looking for my gifts and presents. So it's that kind of curiosity to find out, you know, what would happen if you did and what would happen if you didn't, and a willingness to experiment in all areas of your life. The methodology is the methodology that I just shared about modeling excellence, finding out who's doing a brilliant job, who's doing what you want to be able to do. And the trail of techniques, well, this is what I totally love about NLP, because it's not just one tool and technique. It's like a whole toolbox. So there's how to connect with others effortlessly and easily through building rapport, developing your sensory acuity so you see more, hear more, feel more. There's the swish pattern, there's chaining anchors, there's collapse anchors for minor unwanted states or behaviors. There's perceptual positions for understanding others and building better relationships, for conflict resolution. There's strategy elicitation. There's using your language, the meta model, Milton model, chunking up and chunking down questions. There's literally a whole toolbox to help you get the results that you want. So let me give you a couple of big kind of picture models that will help you understand sort of all the different areas that NLP covers. And before I do that, let me just share my own definition of NLP, which is very, very simple. I call it the user manual for your mind. So have you ever behaved in a way that's inappropriate? I bet you have. Or have any of you ever said the wrong thing at the wrong time? I call that foot and mouth syndrome. Of course you have. Have any of you ever felt emotions come up and you thought, not now, that's happening just at the wrong time? So one of the things that NLP does is it helps you become aware of your patterns in thinking and behavior so that you can make some very rapid shifts and get yourself back on track. So my definition, as I said, very simple. It's the user manual for your mind. And the image I've put up right now, I think it encapsulates what NLP is all about. It's, you know, if you look at unlocking and unleashing the potential of your mind and of your brain, NLP sort of exponentially allows your brain and your mind to unfold so that you're truly tapping into your potential. Also, NLP is very much focused on results. And when I say results, that's about getting results in all areas of your life. And if you think about it, that's the reason if you're employed by an organization to get results. And if you're employed to get results and you don't get those results, then you're no longer useful to that organization. And whether it's in a relationship or communicating with friends and family, it's all about getting results. So just for a moment, consider, how do you get your results? Well, we get our results by what we actually do, by our behavior. And our behavior, to a large extent, is driven by what skills and what capabilities that you have. Now, just for a moment, if you would, imagine a tree. And on that tree, there's some fruit. And you pick that fruit, you bite into that fruit, and it doesn't taste nice. It's not sweet enough, it's not ripe enough, it's not juicy enough. So what would you do if you wanted bigger fruit, better fruit, sweeter fruit, juicier fruit? Well, you could wait for the fruit to ripen. You could go to another tree. Of course, you could always go to another supermarket as well and buy the fruit. But just for a moment, consider what creates the fruit. It's the tree, right? And what creates the tree? Well, that would be the roots, wouldn't it? The seeds and the roots. Because it's the roots that create the fruits. Let me say that again because it's really important. It's the roots that create the fruits. And just for a moment, consider the fruits of your efforts in life are the results that you get. And just waiting for results doesn't create more results. We need to dig a little bit deeper. Now, I've worked in the field of training and development for many, many years. And I'm often called in by organizations to give what I call skills and capabilities training. This could be leadership, it could be presentation skills, it could be leadership skills. And what I've discovered over the years is that just giving people the skills and capabilities very rarely ends up in a change in the results. We need to dig a little bit deeper. So when I work with individuals and organizations, yes, we give them skills and capabilities. NLP will give you skills and capabilities. But we need to dig a little bit deeper because we also need to help people develop the right attitude around service excellence, around presentation skills, around leadership. So once we help people and organizations develop the right attitude, a positive attitude, a can-do attitude, and give them skills and capabilities, do you think we're going to see a shift in the results? Yes or no? Well, the answer to that is possibly. Because even if people have got a positive attitude, even if people have got the skills and capabilities and a can-do, positive approach to life, if they don't believe that they can be good as leaders, if they don't believe they can be excellent in service excellence, if they don't believe they can be a powerful presenter, let me tell you, nothing will change. Maybe some of you have heard that expression, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're probably right. And think of your beliefs like an on-off switch. They drive all your behavior and they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. One of the examples that I often share is the other year I happened to be doing a training overseas and I was staying in the hotel where the training was running. The training was on the ground floor, but my actual room was up on the 5th floor. And on one of the training breaks, I had about 20 minutes to get back up to my room and get something. I was in a rush. And I don't know how many of you have been in some of these modern hotels now. They have those card keys. So I rushed up to my room to get what I needed for the next session. And I put the card key in the lock and that little red light flashed up. And I thought, just when you're in a rush. And you know when that happens, you don't quite believe it. So you take the key out and you put it in a few more times. For me, the red light still came up. So rather than go down to reception, because I was in a rush, I called the reception from my mobile phone and I said, look here, my card key is not working. I need to get in my room. Could you please send somebody up here as quickly as possible? And then I waited. And I waited. And I waited. Nobody turned up. So I called the reception again. Now, I was really impatient at this time. I was worried that I wouldn't get down for the session in time. So you can imagine my communication with the hotel. I said, look, I'm still waiting. I really need you to send somebody up here right now. And just as I was telling the hotel what I thought of them, the elevator door opened and out came one of the hotel employees. And I said, about time. He looked at me and he said, Miss Carroll? I said, yes. He said, well, Miss Carroll, I'm here to escort you to your room on the 5th floor. Well, it was at that moment that I realized that I was only on the 4th floor. Now, why do I share this experience with you? Because your beliefs are behind all your behavior, whether you know it or not. Your beliefs are behind every single thing that you do. So my question to each and every one of you would be, what if your beliefs about what's possible or not are completely wrong? And from the introduction, you probably saw that Sunil introduced me as a fire starter, and I shared with you that I'm a master firewalk instructor, which means that I often teach people to walk across burning hot coals of about 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're not sure on your Fahrenheits, let me just tell you that's very hot. And often I'm asked, why, Carol? Does the world really need more people who can walk across burning hot coals of 1700 degrees Fahrenheit? And if I'm honest with you, the answer to that question would be no. But what this world does need is people who can really face their fears with courage and break through their limiting beliefs about what's holding them back. And I've seen the firewalk really shift people from a can't-do mentality to a can-do very, very quickly. It also begs the question that if you can walk across burning hot coals of 1700 degrees Fahrenheit, well then, what else can you achieve in your life? Now, of course, NLP offers other tools and techniques for breaking through limiting beliefs very, very swiftly, literally in 10 minutes or less, without walking across burning hot coals of 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. So some of you can stop holding your breath and actually breathe now. So, back to this model, now we've got people who believe they can be amazing leaders. They believe they can be good in maybe service excellence or great presenters. They've got a positive attitude, a can-do attitude. We've given them skills and capabilities. So do you think we're going to see a shift in the results? What do you think? Well, possibly. Because we still need to dig a little bit deeper, because even if you believe you can be a brilliant leader, great in presentations, brilliant in service excellence, even if you've got a positive attitude and the right skills and capabilities, here's the thing, if it's not important to you to be a great leader, to be good at what you do, to be fantastic in service excellence, or to be a good presenter, nothing will shift. Just for a moment, consider, have you ever set yourself a goal and achieved it? I bet the answer to that question is yes. Now, here's the second question. Have you ever set yourself a goal and not achieved it? I bet the answer to that question is yes as well. So, what's the difference between the goal that you set and achieved and the goal that you set and you didn't achieve? And I rather suspect that the goal that you set and achieved was something that was really important to you, whereas the goal that you set and you didn't achieve was probably one of those goals that if you achieve it, it'd be nice, and if you didn't, it didn't really matter. So what am I really talking about here? I'm talking about your values. And your values, your guiding force and your driving force behind literally every single thing that you do, whether you know it or not. They're the reason that you get up in the morning and have and do the job that you do, or the business that you have. They're the reason maybe that you've tuned in to this webinar because you're one of those people who's curious and interested in your own personal development. So your values are literally behind every single thing that you do. Now, just for a moment, imagine that you've got aligned your values and your results. You've got those aligned. Because when you get your values aligned with your results, it's like rocket fuel. I always say it's like the difference between a laser and a light bulb. Take 100 watts, put it in a light bulb. Well, right now, switch on the light in the room that you're in, and really, that's the amount of energy that you'll get. Put the same 100 watts in a laser. Well, it's going to blow through every wall in the building that you're in. Why? Very simple. Focus, energy, and alignment. Now, just for a moment, consider having that same focus, energy, and alignment behind literally every single thing that you do. Wow, that's rocket fuel. And that's where NLP comes in. So this is one of the models that I wanted to introduce you to because it gives you the big picture. That in NLP, it's very much focused on results. We're going to look at behaviors and how you can shift unwanted behaviors. We're going to give you skills and capabilities. We're going to shift your attitude. We're going to give you powerful beliefs that support the results that you get, but more importantly, ensure you've got that rocket fuel, that it's all aligned with what's really important to you, your values. Now, that model fits in with another model that I want to share with you that also gives you the big picture around NLP, and then I'm going to merge these two models together. Now, what I want to introduce you to is a model of communication, but this is the NLP model of communication. So it may be a little bit different from some of the models of communication that you've seen before. So you'll notice this fits in very much with the neurological levels, the results, the behavior, the attitude. You can see those at the bottom of your screen. But what I want you to focus on is on the right-hand side of the screen where it says external event. And I'm going to bring up 5 letters, V, A, K, O, G. Now, VAKOG, is that a new word or an NLP word? No. Actually, it applies to the 5 senses. The V is visual, seeing. A is auditory. K is kinesthetic, our feelings. O is olfactory, smell. And G is gustatory, our taste. Those are our 5 senses. And it's been estimated that we receive 2 million bits of information every single second of the day through our 5 senses. 2 billion bits of information every second is streaming into our nervous system. Now, just for a moment, consider that you cannot be aware of all of that information, else you would be totally crazy. So what does your mind do with all that information? Well, at the top of the head, you'll see it says filters. And what we do is we take in all this information through our 5 senses, and then we filter that information. And we filter that information in 3 distinct ways. We delete a lot of the information coming into us because it's just not important. Let me give you an example of these filters. So, have any of you had the experience where you just can't find your house keys or your car keys? So ladies, that probably means emptying your handbag 6 or 7 times and looking for the keys. Guys, maybe you carry a handbag, I don't know. But if you don't, it means going through all your pockets and your drawers. But we've all had that experience where you just can't find your keys anywhere. And then maybe a friend comes along and says, what are you looking for? And you say, I've lost my keys, I can't find them anywhere. And your friend picks them up from right in front of you. And you think to yourself, well, did your friend magically make the keys reappear? Actually, no. What happened was you deleted that information and your friend has just brought those keys back into your visual awareness. And I want to highlight that these filters are not good, bad, right or wrong. And there's many other examples of deletion. Maybe you're on an important phone call and you work in a really noisy office, and yet somehow you're able to delete all the noise around you so you can just focus on what the person is saying to you on the other end of the phone. So can you see this is a filter that we use all the time? Then another filter that we use is distortion. Have any of you ever had the experience where maybe you're walking around one of these huge malls or out having a walk, probably not in this weather at the moment, and from across the street, you see somebody waving at you. So you smile and you wave back, only to find that they were smiling and waving at the person behind you. Embarrassing, isn't it? Well, that's an example of distortion, where you saw someone and thought you knew them, so you waved back. Or maybe you've had the experience where you've paid a person a compliment and they've looked at you and said, "How dare you?" because they've distorted the information that you've given and taken it as you being rude rather than you giving a compliment. So that's an example of how we distort information. And we also generalize a lot of the information coming into us. This is all the isms that we have: ageism, sexism, racism. So it's where we make sweeping statements about a group. Generalization is also one of our learning strategies. It's how we make sense of the world. So if any of you can drive a car, then that means that if you buy a new car, you don't have to learn how to drive all over again. Once you've learned to drive one car, then you can drive any car. So that's an example of a generalization. So these are really very useful. So how do we build, I've got a couple of other examples of deletions, distortions and generalizations. So up here on the screen, what's the first thing that you see? It's probably an old woman and a new woman, an old man and an old woman. But if you look a little bit more closely, then you might also see that there's a Mexican playing a guitar, there's a bottle by the old woman's ear, there's another woman coming out of the old man's ear, and then look in the center. How many of you can see the goblet, the glass? So can you see that, our filters help us pay attention to certain things but delete other information as well? So think of your filters like wearing a pair of sunglasses, because we build up our filters through our life experiences, our memories, our values, our beliefs, the way that we communicate, our attitudes. All of those are different ways to build up your filters. And as I said, your life experiences. So think of the people that you live with. Think of the people that you work with. And now, consider they may have different memories, they have different life experiences. Is it any wonder that it's sometimes difficult to communicate with the people that you live with, let alone the people that you work with? And that's because simply they're wearing different filters. It's like wearing a different color on your glasses. So what you see, hear, and feel, and what other people see, hear, and feel is going to be completely different. So is it any wonder that it's sometimes challenging to get along with people that we work with, let alone the people that we live with and have relationships with? So one of the things that NLP teaches us is how we can connect with other people, even though now we know that they're running different filters. So let me just review here. We take in information through our 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. And as I mentioned, we take in about 2 million messages of sensory awareness at any given time. We run all that information through our filters, through deleting that information, distorting that information, generalizing that information. And we all filter in a different way, and our filters are built up through our language, our memories, values, beliefs, life experiences. Once we filter that information, we pass the remaining information to, do you see over on the left-hand part of the screen at the top it says internal representation? Well, this is what you do inside your head. You make a representation of what's going on. Another way of thinking about internal representations is they're the way that you think. They're your thoughts. And we think in 6 different ways. We have pictures in our head. We have sounds inside our head. we have feelings, we have tastes, sounds, smells, and here's the important one. We talk to ourselves inside our head. So we see pictures, we hear sounds, we smell smells, we taste tastes, we have feelings, and then we talk to ourselves inside our head. And we're all doing this all the time. So this is the 6 ways, 6 things that we do inside our head. And your thoughts affect how you feel. And again, think about what you're thinking of at the moment. So if you think about your childhood, do you think about happy memories? And when you think about your childhood, is it bringing up pictures, sounds, feelings? Do they create a certain feelings inside of you? So your thoughts affect how you feel. Now, have you ever noticed that when you feel good about yourself, you get a much better result than when you don't feel good about yourself? Have you ever noticed that? That when you feel confident, motivated and energized, you get a much better result than when you don't feel confident, motivated and energized. So how can you instantly feel confident and motivated? Well, one of the keys to success that we show you is your thoughts affect how you feel. So if you're thinking about what makes you unhappy and sad, that also is reflected in your physiology as well. So if I were to say, hi, how are you all? And slump down in my chair, from my tone of voice, and if you could see me, you'd know or consider that I might be depressed. So right now, what I'd like you to do is to stand up or sit up and then change the thoughts inside your head. Start thinking about some of the happiest times in your life, maybe times when you passed your driving test or times when you got that promotion at work. And notice instantly that you feel better when you focus on what's right rather than what's wrong. So our state affects how we behave and ultimately either helps us get the results that we want or doesn't help us get the results that we want. So this is where you can start taking charge of your mind right now. You know, the other day I was driving along and I was stuck in traffic, and inside my head I was in a rush, and I had this voice inside my head thinking, oh, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be angry. You know, all these things were going on in my mind, and it wasn't helping me feel very good about myself. And I just thought, Carol, practice what you preach. You can change that voice inside your head that beats you up all the time. So I changed that voice, and I changed that voice, ladies, you'll be with me here, I changed that voice to Johnny Depp. So now I've got Johnny Depp beating me up inside my head saying, you're a naughty girl, Carol. It just doesn't have the same impact. And guys, you can do the same thing. Imagine that voice inside your head, changing the tone of that voice inside your head. So it's maybe Angelina Jolie telling you, you're a very naughty boy. Completely changes the way you feel instantly. So let's again go back to this big picture. Your thoughts affect how you feel, but your physiology also affects how you feel. One of the quickest ways to change how you feel is simply to change your physiology. And for those of you who go to the gym and work out on a regular basis, you'll probably notice that whether you're tired when you go into the gym or feeling down when you go into the gym, when you've done a workout, you always feel better. Why? Because you've moved your body differently. So the quickest way to change your state is change your physiology. Your state affects how you behave, because when you're feeling good about yourself, you behave in a way that helps you get the results that you want. So this is really where we're coming into the big picture of NLP, and in the NLP programs that we teach you, we look at how you can instantly change your thoughts. how you can change the pictures, the sounds and feelings inside your head, how you can change your state. Maybe there's certain people around you that
Hi, Carol. Are you still there? I think we can't hear you. Yeah. Yanis is saying we can't hear you. Yeah, we lost the sound, Carol. I think you've muted yourself. Let's try that. Does that work now? Are you still there, Carol?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're back now. That's great. We lost you there for a few minutes. So we lost you for about a minute there. Do you think you could recap?
Yes. I'll just backtrack, so I'll just go back a slide, if I can. No, I can't. So, I was talking about putting it all together and what's in it for you. And what I was saying was that NLP is all about results. Getting results in all areas of your life, whether that be in your relationships, in your career, in your finances, in wealth and abundance, in your health and fitness levels, in your personal development, maybe in your spiritual development. So every tool and technique that we introduce you to is about helping you get clear about your objectives and also giving you tools that will help you help others get clear about their objectives. So we have something called the Keys to Achievable Outcome questions, which are a set of questions that lead you to get really excited and clear about what you want. So clear that if you were setting a 5-year goal, you'd just go through these questions and you'd know whether it's the right goal for you to be working on, rather than waiting for 5 years and finding out, that's not the right goal. So we help you get clear about what you want in all areas of your life. So NLP is very focused on results. Next, we look at how do you change and remove behaviors that are no longer working for you. NLP is a process of awareness, helping you bring to the surface what's not working in your life and also what is working in your life. So we have a number of tools and techniques that will literally help you remove unwanted fears or phobias in 10 minutes or less. You're right, you heard that correctly. 10 minutes or less. NLP works phenomenally quickly. And it also ensures that you become more flexible in your behavior to get the results that you want. Just for a moment, consider, if you set yourself a goal and you only have one way to achieve that goal, you may or may not achieve it. But what if you had 6 different ways to achieve the results that you want? You've got a much more likely that you will achieve your goals if you've got 6 or 7 ways to get that same result. So NLP is all about giving you more flexibility in the way that you communicate, in the way that you behave. When I'm running management programs, I always think it would be lovely if I could give people, follow these 4 steps and you can manage and lead everybody. But for those in management, you'll know that, one tool does not work for everyone. One size does not fit all. And the most successful managers and leaders are the managers and leaders who are the most flexible in their style, so that they can meet as many people as possible in their model of the world. So as I said, we look at removing unwanted behaviors very quickly. This could be anything from biting your nails, smoking, eating too much chocolate. So getting yourself back on track with behaviors that support you in achieving the results that you want. We also give you skills and capabilities. And when I say skills and capabilities, this could be in the way that you communicate. Asking questions. We have tools like the meta model, which really gets down to the deep root of the communication. The chunking up and down questions. So let me ask if any of you have ever been stuck in one of those meetings which gets too bogged down in the details. Wouldn't it be great if you were in the driver's seat and you could just ask one question that would move the conversation in a completely different way? And then what about those times when you're in a meeting and you don't know what's going on because the conversation is so vague and abstract? Wouldn't it be useful to have a set of questions that gets down to the details and distinctions? Now, if you're clear about your results and your goals and what you want, can you achieve your goal just alone? If you're clear about your results, chances are that you need other people to support you and help you. And the only way that people are going to support and help you to achieve the goals that you want is if they feel that connection and that trust with you. So one of the first areas that we touch on in terms of skills and capabilities is helping you connect with others through rapport. Now, some of you may have heard of rapport already and thought that it's just about finding out what you've got in common with other people. So finding out what hobbies people have got, what they like doing. Well, that's part of it. And wouldn't it be useful to be able to connect with others instantly at the unconscious level so that you're communicating, I'm just like you, therefore you can like me. So we teach you how to communicate and connect with others at the unconscious level. Which brings me round to talking about something called sensory acuity. The now that you're experiencing right now actually registered at the unconscious level half a second ago. Now, that might not sound like very much, and it's not something I've just made up. It actually came about through 15 years of research by a neuroscientist called Benjamin LeBay. So he discovered that everything hits the unconscious level first, and then it's passed to the conscious mind. What does this mean to you and me? Well, have any of you ever had the experience where you've said, you know, when she looks at me in that particular way, I'm not going to get angry next time. Or next time I get cut up in traffic, I'm not going to get upset. And then what happens? You get cut up in traffic and you get upset. That person looks at you in that particular way and you feel bad. And that's because what you've done is consciously told yourself that you want to change. And all change, all learning, all behavior is the domain of the unconscious mind. So during our programs, we help you get to know your unconscious mind, and we also help you develop your sensory acuity so you get to know what's going on with other people often before they have any clue of what's going on with them. Now, I suspect some of you can see the value in that already, that you would know what was going on with maybe your customers or your clients if you're in sales way before they knew what was going on. So you develop your sensory acuity by seeing more, hearing more, feeling more, and knowing what's going on with others. We also help you develop tools and techniques like perceptual positions. So this is a fabulous tool for literally stepping out of your current experience and finding out what's going on with other people. I always think lawyers use this when they're sort of putting their case forward. They step in other people's shoes to see their point of view. Mahatma Gandhi is a fabulous role model for this because they say that he was able to secure the freedom of India from the British government by literally, when he was negotiating with the British government, sitting in their shoes to see what they see, hear what they hear, feel what they feel, so he was able to look at a situation from another person's viewpoint. So perceptual positions is fabulous in building relationships, doing a review of a situation, or before you're about to have an important conversation or a sales call. Going through that sales process, from the other person's perspective. Maybe you've also heard that saying, always look on the bright side of life. Well, a lot of NLP is about reframing situations so you can always see the positive in every situation. And I also talked about strategies earlier. And you have a strategy for literally everything you do. You have a strategy for making decisions. You have a strategy for what to wear in the morning. You have a decision for buying. You have a strategy for falling in love, for getting up in the morning. You have a strategy for literally everything that you do. However, are all your strategies getting you the results that you want? Wouldn't it be useful to discover or create a useful, a brilliant decision-making strategy? So next time you have to make a decision, you can tap into your good decision-making strategy and know that you're going to get a fantastic result. We'll also share with you that you've probably got your own particular communication style, your representational system, a way that you prefer to communicate to the outside world. But wouldn't it be great to exercise flexibility so you can communicate with other people in their style and meet them in their model of the world? And of course, we'll share with you skills and capabilities so that you can choose your state anytime, any place, anywhere, literally so you can anchor yourself into a resourceful state. So if you instantly need to be motivated, you can do that. If you instantly need to feel confident, you can also do that. We also help you develop powerful beliefs that support the results that you want. Now, many of us are not clear of what many of us are not clear of what beliefs we actually have, but a lot of your beliefs come from your childhood conditioning, your upbringing, your schooling, maybe your religion. And here's the thing, if there's an area of your life that is not working perfectly yet, there has to be a limiting belief that is driving that behavior. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're not making the kind of money or enjoying the kind of wealth that you'd really like to be enjoying. Now, deep down there may be a belief that you can't earn enough money. Now, if you're operating deep down at a belief that you can't earn enough money, guess what? You're not going to tap into your potential and take the action necessary to go out and make enough money. And as human beings, we have a need to prove ourselves right. So what this means is that if you don't believe you can make much money, then you won't. Which means that you've got a self-fulfilling prophecy and you can prove yourself right that you can't make enough money. But it becomes a belief that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So NLP has a number of tools that literally take 10 minutes or less to remove those limiting beliefs, those doubts that are not supporting you in getting abundance in your life, so you can create the fulfilling relationships that you want. So there's a number of tools that we can use to do that, but the first port of call there is becoming aware of those beliefs that are no longer supporting you. So we're looking at developing results, behavior, skills, capabilities, attitude, beliefs, but ultimately connecting all of those with your values so you're focused on things that are aligned with your values and putting the rocket fuel back in your life. So that's where sort of the big picture of NLP and some of the tools and techniques come in to support you. So where does this leave you now? Well, going back to what I said, this is your brain, this is NLP, and once you stop using the tools and techniques from NLP, then your brain, your mind, can literally explode. So I want to sort of put it into context here for you. So what are your next steps? Well, we teach you all these tools and techniques, results, behaviors, skills, capabilities, attitudes, beliefs. We put it all into context in just 7 days. Now, we work with the American Board of NLP, and it's one of the largest boards in the world. And we do that because we know in the Middle East that so many people are expats, so we want to make sure that anywhere they go in the world that their certification is recognized. The American board demands 120 hours of study, which would basically be 20 days training. And we appreciate that we're all busy people. So what we've developed is a 7-day accelerated NLP practitioner program. And what this comprises of is an audio program, which is 12 hours of material which gives you all the theory, all the background of NLP. So that when you come to the 7 days, which we run over 2 long weekends, I put the dates of the next program up there. It's Thursday to Sunday and the following Thursday to Saturday. It means that when you come to the program, you've done all the theory, and the 7 days is the experience, to give you an experience as a practitioner of NLP and also as a client. So I often recommend that people bring like a dirty laundry list, everything in your life that's not working, because you get the chance to tidy that up as a client, but we also expect you to practice as a practitioner so that you can help create those results for other people. So that when you leave the program, you know that you've got results for yourself and had undeniable experiences. You can also create those experiences for other people. We also give you 3 recognized certifications, so that's NLP Practitioner, Timeline Therapy, which is a fabulous tool for personal development and releases negative emotions and limiting decisions really quickly, and also Hypnosis, how to use your language in transformational ways to get the results that you want for yourself and others. The hypnotic section is also a fabulous way to integrate all the learnings. Now, 7 days, you're probably saying to yourself, I can't give 7 days to develop myself. Just for a moment, what I'd like you to do is, if you've got a piece of paper in front of you, just write down how much you earn each year. And I'm not going to ask you to share this in any way, so this is just for yourself. So write down quickly how much you earn in a year. And then what I'd like you to do is to now write down how much you'd like to earn in a year. And then look at the difference. So I'm going to give you an example of this when I can get the PowerPoint up. Somehow it's not clicking. So let me talk you through this. Let's say you oh, here we go. I want you to subtract A from B. So let's say you want to earn 500,000 dirhams, dollars, whatever, and you're only earning 100,000. So what I want you to do is subtract what you want to be earning from what you're currently earning. And in the example that I've given here up on the screen, we've got 400,000. Now, I don't know what you've written down, but what I can share with you is the difference is what the NLP practitioner program is worth to you. Because this kind of program is all about self-worth, and you can never earn more than you believe yourself to be worth. So that's the value of attending a program like this. And here's the other thing. This program isn't just for 7 days. What we're doing is giving you skills, tools, capabilities, beliefs, results that last you a lifetime. So just for a moment, consider how long are you going to be working for? Another 5 years? Another 10 years? Maybe 20 years? Well, if you're going to be working for another 20 years, then take the difference and multiply that by the number of years that you're going to work. And if I'm going to work for another 20 years and times that by 400,000, well, that's 8 million. That's really the value of a program like this, because it's tools and techniques that will last you a lifetime. Now, some of you may think, well, I want to know more, Carol, I want some of this. And some of you may be saying, no, this isn't for me, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. However, we have a lot of fun on our programs, and what I love is the fact that a lot of people on these programs make friendships that last a lifetime as well. So often our coaching team is made up of friends who've been through all our programs and come back because they want to help other people grow. We've got so many success stories, and I've just posted a couple up on the screen right now. Kerry, for example, we see less of her now, and I mean that in more ways than one. She's lost 27 kilos, and she's also shifting her career. When she came on our NLP program, she wanted to leave the first morning because she didn't have the confidence levels, but to see her blossom and grow is absolutely fantastic. Nadine, she's taken her skills as a singer to empower children. She's also developed herself even further, and she's one of the few female stage hypnotists in the Middle East. We've got people who've used the tools and techniques to leave their job and set up their own company. We often have couples who come together, and we've seen Mehdi and Reem, really their relationship shifted to another level, and their children also noticed the difference. Mehdi's also, his fear of speaking in front of audiences has completely shifted, and he's getting great results now. Often people come on the program because they want to change career, and maybe we've had a couple who are not even working, and in the space of the program, because it's run over 2 long weekends, they've actually got jobs. We've got people who have also shifted countries to move into the career of their dreams. We've got up here Alex, who's developing holistic business. She's now featured in several magazines. Huda, who's using the tools and techniques in her new role as a sales manager. She's running short training programs based on what she learnt on the program. Z, she's expecting a baby next month. She uncovered a huge limiting belief during the program, which was that she didn't believe relationships were worthwhile. Soon after that, she met the love of her life. They married after 1 year, and as I said, I'm delighted to know that she's expecting a baby next month. We also have people who come to boost their confidence, so people like Wilson, Arif, and Aaron Ahmed, 3 very shy individuals, and their confidence levels have really shifted to the point where they've got no problem talking to anyone and everyone. So those are just some success stories, and what I do want to highlight is these are not just names and people and testimonials excuse me, that we've made up. These are real live people that it warms my heart, warms my spirit that they've gone on and made major shifts in their life. And what I want to also say is that, you know, if you've got questions, this will be a good time to sort of put those questions in. The people that I've just shared with you, they're real people. They've made those shifts and changes themselves. I'm often referred to as a teacher, a trainer, a facilitator. I cannot teach anybody anything. All I can do is share what I've learned along the way. And if you are ready, open, and up for it, what I can tell you is that NLP has helped me make quantum shifts forward in all areas of my life. And when people come to our programs and they're ready to make those shifts and changes, myself and my team, we're also prepared to do whatever it takes to help you make those shifts and changes. So I'm going to sort of just pause for a moment and check in with Sunil if we have any questions and what questions sort of people have, because I know I've been talking a long time. I'm conscious of time, but it's 9:10 now and we started a few minutes late. So Sunil, are you there?
I am still here, Carol. Thank you so much. That was very educational. So I really enjoyed the slide you showed, which had the kind of like the formula for success, going to the roots. You said the roots are the fruit. Is that right? Or the fruits?
Yeah, the roots create the fruits. Yes.
There you go. I think that's freaking awesome. So if you have I've got a few questions already. So just to call out to everyone else on the call, if you have any questions, please put them in the question box, and Carol, I'll fire them at Carol for you, so she can answer them, because it is a little difficult to read the question. So if you have a question about NLP, the course, life, your marriage, I'm not too sure Carol can answer those, but feel free to write down any kind of question you got. We'll do it. We've had a few here already from Wendy, so I'm going to ask you those. Wendy says, you mentioned many different NLP techniques. How do you know which one to use for a particular problem?
Thanks, Wendy. And again, when we go through the program, we encourage people to come with a dirty laundry list. However, what we do in the program when we share the tools and techniques, with each tool and technique we'll share, this tool and technique is good if you have say, a minor unwanted state or behavior in a particular context. You would use, say, a swish pattern or a collapse anchors. If you're procrastinating and you want to sort of get into action, then we share with you on each tool and technique what you would use it for. So you've almost got a checklist of, if I have this issue or challenge, this is the tool and technique that I would use. What I would also share is that we're really focused on ensuring that people get a great result during the program, and that it's not just those 7 days. We want to support you before, during, and afterwards. And that's the reason why many of our delegates become such great friends, because they know that they can call us afterwards and say, hey, this situation's come up for me, what tool or technique would be great? But during the program is the experiential side of the program to really give you the experience so you feel confident at using these tools and techniques as a practitioner, and you've also had an undeniable experience as a client and made massive shifts and changes in all areas of your life.
Fantastic. Excellent. Another question here, Carol. We've got this from Yanis. Yanis says, I'm not very good at English. Yanis, your English is perfect. Would NLP be useful for me to learn and understand you? Would NLP be useful for me to learn and understand you? That's the question. Yanis, is your question, just to understand your question, is your question about understanding the program? So if you could just elaborate a little bit more, Yanis, on what you mean by that, that'd be great. Another question while Yanis is hopefully answering that. Saravana, hopefully I got that right, Saravana. I'm half Indian, I'm half English, so sometimes I get Indian names wrong. Saravana is asking, will he get a copy of the presentation, Carol?
Yes, we'll be posting this up on our YouTube channel, so they'll all get the link. Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Going
Yanis
back
was saying yes.
To Yanis, what I want to say, Yanis, is it's very, very, very rare that we have a program where there's native English speakers only on the program. So we're very aware that we have people on our programs with different language abilities. And this is where having the pre-study material really helps, because it means that you can go through the audio material at your leisure, so that you can really understand it and replay it again and again and again with the theory. And I know that sometimes we have maybe 30 people on our program, we've got 30 different nationalities. We also make sure that we have a coaching team that usually speaks a number of different languages, and I can guarantee we've had people from so many different countries. There's bound to be somebody from your who can speak your language, so when you go to the exercises, you can often do the exercises in your own language. And having that audio program in the pre-study pack means that you have the time and space to go through it at your leisure and really understand it. So I found that's really beneficial to people who have a lack of confidence in their own language abilities, and it's something that we've seen people who often say language is maybe a challenge, and yet their ability to understand is absolutely brilliant.
Superb. I have another question here, Carol. Carol, how much is the program?
Yes, I just realized I forgot to say that. Our program is 8,920 dirhams. 8,920 dirhams. That includes all your pre-study. It includes the additional material, the 3 certifications. It includes support before, during and after the program. As I said, we give you 3 recognized certifications. It's all your food and beverage during the program, and let me tell you, there's a lot of food and beverage during the program. We eat very well. We also tend to do our programs always at a beautiful resort hotel with a beach view. They are long days. They're 9 till maybe 6:30. And people always tell me the day goes really, really quickly, and not just for them, for me as well. They're packed full, and we laugh a lot. Now, the different programs are priced very differently. I know when I did programs back in England, I paid maybe 3 times as much as that, and there was no food, lunch, or anything included. I'm aware in this part of the world there's many different programs going on. However, we haven't put up our rates in maybe 5 years, although the venues have put up their rates. So we believe it really offers great value for money, not just for those 7 days, but as I said, it's the support before, during and afterwards that really brings value to that.
Thank you, Carol. There is another question from, well, it's not really a question, it's like a statement. Saravana. Okay, you've put something else there. It says, I'm a sales executive from India, recently shifted to the Middle East. Since being in sales, what are the challenges that you'll face? Interesting. Carol.
I'm not clear on what the question is. In sales, one of the challenges most salespeople cite is objections and objection handling. Well, let's face it, most of us know what the objections will be with our products and services, which can often be time. In the case of, I'm sharing what we normally get, is time. People often don't think they have enough time to attend a program like this, and often money can be an objection. So in NLP, we focus a lot, this comes in more in the Master Practitioner program, but again, your ability to ask questions, your ability to connect with other people, but also to reframe or pre-frame those objections. I'll give you an example. An objection many people have on these programs is, I don't have enough time. So one of the ways, Saravana, that I would respond to that is, have you ever stopped to consider how much time you're wasting focusing on what's not giving you the results that you want in your life? Wouldn't it be really useful to get clear about what results you do want and then adopt the behaviors that will help you get that? And that's where NLP will save you time. So can you see what I've done is a reframe, or I like to call them objection inoculators. So for a salesperson, we've got the skills and tools of rapport, asking questions, connecting with people, developing your sensory acuity. One of the things that I didn't mention that many people hear about NLP is the eye patterns. When you're with clients, their eye patterns actually give you clues to what they're doing inside their head. So for sales, NLP gives you, again, a whole toolbox to connect with others effortlessly and easily, and also to approach each sales call with an amazing abundance of confidence. So I hope that answers your question, and that I got the right end of the stick with your questions, Saravana.
Super. Thanks, Carol. Some other questions here. How can I change, this goes back to the filters you were talking about, how can I change other people's filters? Can I get them to think like me? Asks Wendy.
Oh, if everybody else was just like me, it would be so much easier, and if I could just line everybody up and change them so that they could be the way that I like, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, we cannot change other people. And what we can do is, when you change yourself, other people change. So often, when people come to our program, during the program when they go home each night, they're often left with the question, did I change, or did my whole family change while I was away at this program? And the answer to both those questions is yes. Because when you change yourself and when you change your response to other people, they change. A lovely example of this that comes to mind would be one of our delegates. She shared that she had a real challenge getting her son up in the morning. She said he was a real grumpy little boy. Getting him up in the morning and getting him to school on time was really challenging. And so we said, well, what do you like when you get up in the morning? She said, well, yeah, I have to drag my body out as well. Well, we said to this delegate, we want you to change first. You get out of bed with confidence, excitement, with energy. So the next morning, her alarm clock went. She jumped out of bed, immediately felt confident, excited, energized. She went into the next bedroom to wake up her son. He was already up and jumping. Because when you change yourself, it naturally changes others around you. And we call this perception is projection, because the outer world is a complete reflection of you. When you change yourself, others get in step with you as well.
Fantastic. A couple more questions here, Carol. How many people attend the practitioner program?
There's no limit on numbers, and we normally have between, say, 18 to 30 people. I enjoy a large number of people. The reason is because I like to give our delegates as many different people to partner with during the program, and we encourage you on the program to partner with as many people, different people as possible, because when you go out into the world, hey, we often meet people that wouldn't normally want to spend time with, and yet maybe business means that we do need to spend time with those type of people. So I feel that when there's more people, it gives you more opportunity to practice with lots of different types of people. What we also do is, with a larger number of delegates, we increase our coaching team so that everybody is supported and gets the necessary support that they require during the program. There's an open book test, which means you can copy the answers from the audio program and the manual, so that's a different way of learning. And we support you to get 100% in the test as well.
Fantastic. That's great. Last question I've got here, so if you've got any more questions, anyone else on the call, guys, just put them in. Last question I've got here at the moment is, it's going back to the physiology, Carol. So you talk a lot about physiology. Is that the same or different to body language?
We don't talk so much about body language in NLP, and I'll tell you why. With body language, it's often, just for a moment, consider how many of you are sitting with your legs crossed or your arms crossed right now. And chances are some of you are sitting with your arms crossed. Body language teaches us that if somebody's got their arms crossed, it means that they're bored, that they're disinterested. Well, they may be bored or disinterested, but wouldn't it be better to connect with that person rather than judging that their body language means this or it means that? So with NLP, what we're looking at with physiology is how we can connect with them through building rapport, which may be through what we call mirroring and matching, which are some skills and capabilities that we share with you, is how you can use your physiology to connect with another person instantly and easily. Your physiology, however, is linked to how you feel. And as I shared with you, you all know that if you're slumped down, you don't tend to feel so energized as when you're sitting upright in your chair or standing upright. So your physiology does impact how you feel. And I remember years and years ago being told that if I had an important telephone call, rather than sit down, stand while I was making that call, because I would feel more confident, but it would also affect my energy levels and my voice. So yes, there is a lot to be said for good physiology, good posture.
Fantastic. Great. Super. I don't think we've got any more questions, Carol, so I'll pass. We have one more question. Is there an age limit to attend the program? Can teenagers learn NLP?
Oh, I so wish that I had been taught this at school. I so wish I'd been taught this in my 20s. I so wish I'd been taught this in my 30s, and I wasn't. There's never an age that's too late to learn, and there's certainly no age that's too young to learn. In fact, on our last program, we had, I think, she was 17, and she was a very popular delegate. So yeah, teenagers can really value from this information. So if you're a parent, great, bring your kids along, and if you can't release them from school, if the dates don't work, then please share these tools and techniques with your children. They're absolutely fabulous, but the younger the better. I absolutely wish I'd been taught this at school. I so do. So thank you for that question. Just a couple of things before we wrap up, Sunil, that I want to say is that, you know, I'm often asked, can we use NLP in business? My response is, how could you not? Or can you use this with your children? How could you not? Can you use this with relationships? How could you not? It really is applicable in all areas of life, and NLP really is widely used in business to improve management, sales, achievement, performance, interpersonal skills. It's used in education to better understand learning styles, to develop rapport with students, parents to aid in motivation, and ultimately NLP really is a profound set of tools for personal development. I strongly believe that the tools and techniques really allow people to make very rapid shifts and changes, transform performance, and it is already used by top businesses in leadership, management, motivating people, setting goals, accelerated learning, creativity, flexibility of approach. So many areas. As I said, to me, as a teacher, facilitator, I can open the door. However, people need to enter by themselves, and we're happy to facilitate that change. So if you think the program's for you, that's fabulous. If it's not, then that's also fine. That's absolutely fine. It may not be where you're at right now. But what I'd like to leave you with is that if you really want to wake up every day even more fascinated and excited by life than you were the day before, then this could be the program for you. If you want to take charge of your emotions in stressful situations and learn to be more confident, if you want to become more optimistic, motivated, driven to go after what you really want in life, then this is the program for you. If you've ever told yourself that you need to be more focused and can't see a way to do it, if you wish you were a more effective communicator at work and at home, if you want to be able to banish phobias and anxieties easily and quickly, if you feel that you'd like to change your life and you have no idea how to go about it, or you just wish that you could help others to bring about amazing changes in themselves, then this is your chance to train in a very powerful set of mind tools to literally, as I like to say, to change your mind and keep the change. So if you have any more questions, if you'd like to watch this again, we'll be posting it up on YouTube and we'll send you the link. If you'd like to contact me personally, then please go to one of the websites, or it's carol@matrix-training.com. If you want a free e-video program which encapsulates some of what I've said, then go to nlpuncovered.com. There's a free video series. We'd love to meet you all, myself and my team. And I'm excited to meet you and hear what shifts and changes you want to make in your life. So Sunil, anything you want to say as we wrap up?
No, Carol, thank you so much. I've just put a link to your website in the chat, Matrix Training NLP Practitioner. That will give you more details about the program dates and bits and pieces. And I'm sure you'll be sending out a link to the recording tomorrow. So thank you everyone for attending. It's been a great webinar. Thank you so much, Carol, for that. I've heard you many, many times, but every time I hear you, I learn something new. I feel inspired, motivated, and ready to take action. So everyone's saying thanks. Lots of people saying thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and hope to see you all soon. Thanks very much.
Muted.